What's up, guys? It's Dave Bristow from Extreme Paint Studio here today with a stinking cold, but I'm still here painting your tutorials. You would have just finished the Tiger, or in the process of finishing the Tiger. That was a good little project, especially for beginners, because just black and white, nice and easy, follow the lines. And that's one thing I didn't mention in the video, actually, was the most important thing for beginners is to be able to follow lines. So for all those beginners out there, literally just scribble some lines on a piece of paper and make sure you can follow them. Because if you do an accurate map of your image and all you got to do is follow those lines like we did with the Tiger, you can just literally fill it in, paint by numbers. Okay? And then if you make a mistake, guess what? Erase it. So it's not as hard as you think. Yes, getting control of the airbrush is, takes some time and dagger strokes and things like that, but that will come down the line. Just keep practicing, keep going, and you'll get there. All right. We got this bad boy today. Yeah, kind of intermediate level, this one. So beginners, have a go. Honestly, just crack on, give it a go like you would any other. But it is kind of intermediate. There are some good stuff. The blurred background is nice. That'll be a nice one to get under your belt, how to do blurred backgrounds, the old fun technique. We've got some lovely teeth in there, kind of realistic teeth, actually. They're kind of good. We've got some texture in the face. Even some of the shirt area and stuff like that is a bit blurred as well. So we've got to kind of keep that photographic look. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun. Lots of colour. Okay, this one's got lots of colour. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share with you a little video of how I use a little window to match our colours, right? As close as we can get. I do a whole video, like an hour-long video for colour theory, but that's probably too much for you guys to watch just to do this. So I'll do the little video where I use the window, because what you want to do is basically negate any other colours that interfere with you matching that colour, okay? You can go with straight purple, straight out the thing, but, it's like you've got a mixture of red violet here, blue violet there. I would say quinacridone violet here. You've got a mixture of different kind of violets in there. I can see 3 or 4 different violets already. So, you've got to match the colours as best you can. And especially when you go to that more photographic, like you're after hyperrealism, you want to be able to match your colours kind of 99%, really. So if we start practicing now, we'll be genius by the time we get to hyperrealism, yeah? We got some kind of skin tones up in this area. Rather than black shading, it's kind of sepia shading. So we've got greys on this side and we've got sepia on that side. There's lots to learn in this one. So it's going to be good fun. Follow along. And I don't think we'll get too much done on the first video. I think this is about 3 or 4 videos, all right? Should take about, I want to say about 5-6 hours to paint. So check it out. It's going to be some long videos, all right? But enjoy, and I'll see you again soon, guys. Take care. Bye. Okay. First thing I think we need to do is, because it's like an off-white board, I think what I need to do is just mist over everything on the face with a white, and almost push the red lines back so we can still see them, but push them backwards. Because this is transparent white, ETAC transparent white, I can just mist over, and then when I put some heat on it, what will actually happen is it will push back, and we'll be able to see the reds a bit better again. But just making sure I've got that underlined sort of white makeup look, because the clayboard is off white, so we want to get that sort of white look in there. Don't matter if you go outside into your hair, because obviously that's going to be other colours, so just make sure that we've got everything. And I'll just chuck some heat on it. You can use a hairdryer, it doesn't have to be a heat gun, just a hair. Right, the next step is to bring in the black around the eyes. So what we want to do is just start bringing in the darker areas. And what I'm doing is I'm leaving where the white highlights were. For now. I will go over them, but I want to leave them in just for a moment. I'm using standard shading black. Notice I'm doing it again, guys. I'm resting my hand on the board and I'm locking my fingers in, thumb in there, and I'm just getting my paint flowing and then moving around. Okay? That's quite sharp, that curve there, so I'm just going to put a shield in there. Find the shape that you need. That's almost bang on, look. I'm just going to bring in a little bit around the edge. And then I can lead out of that. Leaving that little highlight there, just so I know where it is. And it kind of goes up to there, and then it turns to a different colour just around that crease. So I'm going to just stop at black there. I'm not going to go right up to the tip because it turns red. That's where my highlight is, just going under that bit there. Got a little bit of overspray in there, but it's a grey area that anyway. There's a hint of blue in it as well, but right, I'm going to find the top of the eye shape. Keep it very local. And we can kind of black it out.
bit of a curve to that. Don't really want to use too many shields. Might freehand these a bit as well. Depends if I see a blurred edge or a harsh edge, like a sharp edge. So you have to determine what edge you're working with. We'll get the eyes in. And that may be it for today. Just starting to get some of the shaping around the eye. We will be manipulating it here and there. Okay, just going to use a shield to get the eye in. So I'm just going to do the bottom half first, just to there, and then I'm going to use the other tighter one on the corner. Just so it comes around a bit more of a curve, because if I use the larger one it would have been sort of going out too wide. So we'll just black that in, leaving our highlight, which we will take out later or add in later. I'm just going up that curve. Just want a little crease, sort of heading out that way. So I'm just going to bounce off the shield. Like that. And at this point, if you feel you got a bit too much, then just come in and just push your black back a bit. much more towards the line. We've got a bit of a dark shadow, but it's not black, it's just a little bit of a shadow going up. So I'm just going to blur this one down. It's not quite black. And then I'll just use a shield, although I'm going to come in with some red and stuff. I'm just going to use a shield just to go down that first little edge there. Again, I'll use the shield just for the beginning part of that. Just that curve. And then we got the same kind of thing, but going up almost the opposite way. It kind of curves that way a little. So I'm just going to chuck one down there, like that, and then give it a turn at the last minute. Probably a little bit tight on that corner. Let's just take out that corner there. Just bring that in. We'll be putting all the shading and stuff in there anyway, so we'll get the shape when we need it. Right, and then we got this coming down as a sort of V down the nose. That shaded bit, and then there's a couple of little lumps. One like that, creases that come down to the nose, and one like that. And there's a little bit of a dip in there, but I want some texture in that, so just a little bit of fluffy, just in there. Just give it a bit of texture, just in there. That's it. Okay, and the other side, just to start us off. We'll work our way up. Going to go up that line there, and again it kind of goes over. There's a little bit of highlight stuff going on in that edge. Notice I've changed my angle of my airbrush, so it's now pointing up into my black area. Right, it allows me to come down very close to this edge without actually going into the eye, because I'm pointing upwards. So I can now do as much as I want in there, and as I go up I start to straighten. So this is the area I'm dealing with now, and then as I come to the top I'll point downwards. So it limits the amount of overspray out of your dark area. I'm going to be coming back in and reiterating this highlight on that edge anyway. Really dark around here. I can again use the shield just to get to the bottom. Just find that shape. Had a bit of escape there, but I'm not worried about it. I can come up, I know roughly where it is. You can see that's the kind of tone that we need in that area. You see it's very kind of bluey, and that tone carries all the way up to the top of the head, to there. So we could, if we wanted to, it's very light around the eye, but we could already start to mist in the blue, and there's a little bit down here, so we can put it in there under the eye, in there, so we can start to build up on that area. And then as it shifts over here, it goes more towards the sepia look. So I'm just gonna bring in a little bit of blue around there, and we're always going to go back in with white. Alright, we'll carry on with our black. So let's get this under here. I'm getting a bit of overspray over here, but I'm not worried about that, because that's a real dark sort of area. Okay, so let's get the other eye in. There's our little circles. There you are. Again, we'll use the larger one to do the bottom. And then we'll come in and use the one above so it curls round a bit more. we fill it in. There's a little highlight in that corner, so I'm going to leave that highlight. There's another one there. Right there. Just fill that in. Okay, we'll use, there's a bit of darkness here, that's more sepia. I'm going to just drag some lines out from the black, so that's your safe area. I'm just going to do some little lines, drag down lines. Didn't actually put them in the map sketch, but some of this is going to be, you know, just go off your own sort of gut feel what things we need in. I'm just going to put a little bit of a shadow in that corner. And then I think as long as you got similar to what's actually in there. Right, this is going more sepia now. There is a little bit of black there, but it's very sepia looking. Just under here, a little bit of a one there. That's quite dark. I'm just going to use a shield to come down on that one. That's quite sharp, that one. Goes up a little, and then goes down a little. Like that. You got a big one that comes around to this one here. Dark in the beginning, so we can start from there, and then it goes to sepia halfway up. That's a sepia, and then there's another little one sort of coming out here. Just sort of there. And then we got the two ones that go across. They seem quite dark. 1, 2. And then we've got a darker one. Comes out of that corner and up. Okay, on there is a little bit of a shadow, so I'm just going to put a little bit of a shadow. And just underneath that. We will be going in with sepia, so some of it is purple, sort of purple, red. There's a bit of a mix going on. And these creases here are definitely sepia, and there's some black that comes up to the nostril. We're just laying down the starting point of everything, really. So I'm just going to put the nostril in. It is more black again, so we can come in there. Just give that a tiny little bit of black on that corner. Just an offering. Okay, let's change up to sepia and start going in with some sepia. Right, so I'm just gonna, where he's got his makeup at the top here, this clown sort of face. I'm just going to go in with a little bit of sepia. Just make sure we got the sepia coming through, which we have. Just gives off a slightly different colour, like a reddish colour. And we will hit this with some red. I'm just going to use a shield just to go over that arc, because that's pretty sharp, that crease. Just going to go in there. Sepia does skate a little. You can see how wet that is. You have to air dry a lot with sepia. Yeah, look, it just skates so easily. Remember, we're going to be going back in with white, so you don't have to be too concerned about your shapes if they're slightly off. I just want to get that around that corner. So, and then I'll come in that way. Okay, so let's look at our creases. I've got the dark one in, so what I'm going to do is just actually run that darker line sort of 50-50. I want to round it off. So this line here I'm just rounding off on that start. Okay, and then we've got, yeah, that little line in there. I'm going to keep that really thin. Okay, and then we got another one coming in above it which actually joins into, how far does that come down? That only comes over that edge. Skate, as always with sepia. That comes in there. Definitely needs neatening up. Okay, if I do need to tidy up that little skate in there, I can get in there with my eraser pencil and just take it out. Alright, but I know I'm coming back in with white anyway, and textures and things like that. So seem to have missed one off the map by the looks of it, so that goes up to there. Yeah, there's one coming in here as well, bottom of there, so that comes in at that crease. So I've got to find that shape, which is pretty much the shape we had, that one there. So if I bring that in there, just hit that shape there. And that actually joins this one. Probably pushed that a little bit too far actually, but let's go around there. Like that. And then it will join in with this one here. So once we've got the whites in, all these creases will be pushed back, and we'll be looking for that kind of 3D feel. Right, you can see how when I'm doing this sepia now, it's got almost like a reddy tone compared to the shade in black. Oh, someone asked me why I have my airbrush pointed at that angle. It's because I like to see ahead. So when I'm looking at something like this and I'm trying to do a line, there was two lines I had there, but one was the right line and one was the wrong line when I was doing my map. So if I'm doing this line here, I'm pointing it at this angle. Okay, that's not because I'm showing you guys, that's because I like to see the head of the line. So look, I can see where the line is and bring it along. If I was like doing like this, it would be in the way. So I prefer to actually see where the paint is landing from a side angle. Okay. Same with me following this line. Look, I can see it. Ahead of time. So you can see where that line is, and if I want to sort of shade the line as I'm doing it, okay, I just back off a little, look, and just shade either side of it. Oh, that got a bit thinner up there, so I should have kept that nice and thin. So again, I'll come in. Whoop. Didn't realise that went off to nothing. I thought it was quite heavy in that area. So I'll just come in and correct that straight away. Okay, because I know I'm going to be going over with more white, and so I'll just correct the issue before we move forward. Okay, let's do the one that leads into it. And then that's just a shadow up there, so we don't need to worry about that. We got that one coming out. That's quite dark, this one. I'm just going to bring it down. thick. Okay, and there's the one that the red follows into there. Okay, and then we got this one here. Fairly straight, that one, so I'm going to use a shield. So tidy up underneath it. Okay, he's starting to appear. We got a little one up here. It's kind of faint, this one, so we'll just run it and then we'll play about with textures around it. There's a faint one here. Just push it out like that and just tidy it up. Run over it to make it a little bit more faint. We can always come back in with a white anyway. Okay. Right, let's start getting in some form in the forehead now by shading. So we can just create some shadows. Whilst we're doing that, we can be texturing at the same time. If I can find my little texture again. So let's look at some texture here. Okay, just a little bit. And a little bit up there. You'll never get your texture 100% on the money, but as long as you've got some texture in there. In exactly where you need it. Then so I seem to be missing one there in the map. So I'm just going to do a little line down to this corner, up to there. That's it, and then I can texture this side of that line. I'm keeping it very light, this texture. And there's a bit of a glow in there. It kind of comes across there, and then up a little bit there, and there, and then up into that corner. there's that bit that came out of there. And then there seems to be a nice crease there. So we'll just put a little shield there and just run up that shield. And then it comes down that way. Ooh, put a little mark in it. A little bit of white over the top when we come in with our whites. That creeps round like that. A little bit of a darker area there, and then we'll come in with our texture again. Hopefully it's not too wet, and we'll just do this side. Just a little bit of texture there, a little bit in there, and a little bit sort of there. And we'll just come in, use that a little bit of a, got to escape then, just get in and darken that bit up. Take that to the edge. Just get rid of that little mark I managed to put in. Get some sepia in the eye without it skating. Starting to come together. Right, I want to put some texture in of our blue now. So in this middle section, and get this all kind of textured up, sort of darker areas. There and there, and then we'll push them back afterwards. So we'll push them back with the white once we get our white going again. So if we put a darker background on now, that's a bit heavy that bit, so I'll just touch it with my finger. If we put the darker background now, and when we go over with white, it will push that background back a bit. I'm just putting some extra texture in. It's looking a bit blue, but that's because I haven't got the sepia in on this side as well. A little bit of blue underneath there. just a tint of blue in this corner. No blue on that side. A little bit of blue down the nose. And as it goes over there, this is a tiny bit of blue in this area. More, it's definitely more on the right hand side. Okay, as I said, I don't want this to be perfectly white. Okay, I want this little bit of red. We might have to add some pyrrole red afterwards, but I want that bit of red to kind of almost bleed into the eye a little. Just get rid of that little skate I've got in that eye. Just going to allow it to go in to the eye a bit more, especially on this left hand side. There's a bit more red in there. Goes grey in this eye. But I'm going to add some red to it, normal red anyway. I'm just going to use the sepia just to darken up this corner of that eye. So we start to push out, just shadow that eye, and there is no sort of white highlight underneath the eye. You can get rid of that at the same time. This is a little bit darker here. Try and tidy that up a bit. Okay, we want this eye really to look so realistic. Okay, so we're starting to get there already. We really want that to pop, and it will. Just catch the top of that. You know where I've done the line in the eye? Just catch it ever so slightly. Just bring it round. Probably went a little heavy there, which I didn't want to do. I'm just going to pull that back a bit. Just working around this eye right now, just to get things going. Just going to darken up that corner of the eye a little, just a tad. Don't need to go mad. And then there's a definitive sort of crease that comes out from that. So just sharpen that up a little, and then just above it, just that corner comes in. Could probably do with a little bit of violet in it. Okay, and then we'll bring in this reds up here. Have to use shields for that. We'll turn that around like that. Okay, and then we've got that one that kind of goes up like that. And kind of curves over from there. And then that goes up to a point at the top, like that. Okay, and obviously that's not the colour that we actually need. Oversprayed there. Just want to get a bit of red in this area here, and then I'm not too worried about it because I'm going to go over with white outside of that bit, so I'll just correct that for now. Okie dokie. I think that's our starting point.